Morning, hope you're doing alright this Wednesday morning. Last night AFC Bournemouth lost 2-1 to Chelsea at Dean Court in a pre-season friendly which showed some really good signs. The first hour was pretty good and there were some good standout performances from some young players for AFC Bournemouth. And look, whilst we ultimately lost the game, I'm sure a few of these players are going to be mentally knocking on Scott Parker's door as if to say, look, I'm ready, I'm available. But yeah, we lost 2-1 and there was a bit of symmetry to it for me because the last time I went to Dean Court with a full stadium was Chelsea in the Premier League. Alas, that was the season where we went down. This was a pre-season friendly in a season where we want to get back up. Didn't happen last time round, but maybe it can happen again. But it looks like we're going to have to rely on youth and the loan market in order to get there, because it doesn't look like we're spending the big bucks at the moment. But look, we'll chat more about that later on. It was a really interesting day, to be honest, because I did have a ticket, but then due to an emergency medical situation, which I won't go into, I had to get another ticket. So therefore I could only pick it up from the stadium. But my God, when I got there, the queues to get a ticket, collecting it from the ticket office. So there were hundreds that couldn't get in the stadium ready for 7:45. And I just thought to myself, in this day and age, how come they've not got QR codes that can get emailed to you or sent to your phone? Is that not a thing? Maybe something for the Cherries Supporters Experience Working Group to chat to them about, because yeah, that's just one of these kind of things that you think it's surely solvable and doable with the technology that we've got. But you know what, it didn't matter. It was a friendly for me. I wasn't overly fussed. And look, I missed the first 10 minutes. What I did see before I even got there, I went to the Village Hotel, but for some food in their bar and grill. Must admit, it's a regular place for me to go before a match for some grub. And the Chelsea team were actually there, so I saw the likes of Callum Hudson-Odoi, Ross Barkley, Thomas Tuchel, Pulisic, Alonso, etc. The whole side walking out, and nice to do a bit of star spotting. Don't usually get involved in that, but you know what, I thought I would. And anyway, car park full, of course, so parked somewhere well dodgy, but managed to find a spot. It was my own fault for leaving it late, to be honest. So yeah, I did miss the first 10 minutes, but it was so nice to get back into a stadium full of supporters. Absolutely superb scenes. And after the game, despite the disappointment of losing 2-1, went up into the 1910 bar and saw a number of back-of-the-net regulars. Steve Hensman, of course, Keith Thomas, we had John, Heather, Paul Kenwood, Mr. Tiggs was there, Tom, Lucy, a load of us. So you know what, it was really nice to get in there and have a drink. But then straight after that, I did a bit of a post-match reaction, and this was with Tom Jordan in the pitch black. Luckily, we had our studio light with us in the car. So for a bit of reaction from the match and some footage, it's over to Tom and me. Hello AFC Bournemouth fans, you wouldn't believe where we are right now. We're in a bloody industrial estate.
I'm not sure where we are, I've got to be honest, I'm not sure where we are. I know that we watched a game of football and now we're in an industrial estate, but
we are somewhere close to Dean Court, but we've just watched a game, Tom, where Bournemouth put in a decent performance, I thought, against the European champions.
Yeah, I thought we were alright, to be fair. Obviously they didn't have all their big boys out, but they had a decent side. We obviously had a few youngsters out as well, and I thought we competed well. And there was a lot of the youngsters I thought done alright, to be fair.
A few standout performances, not least Ibsen Rossi at the back. I thought looked really composed on the ball. He looked really exceptional. Gavin Kilkenny in midfield, and there were a few like cameo roles that I thought, you know what, maybe they could make the grade in the Championship, or maybe I'm just looking through rose-tinted, cherry-tinted spectacles, perhaps.
Ibsen Ake, am I right? No, I thought he was exceptional. I've got to be honest, and him and Kilkenny both played 90 minutes, the only two, I think, outfield. Obviously apart from Travers, but they did themselves no harm. We always see this a little bit in pre-season. I know we've seen Offerball recently do well in pre-season and end up leaving. Cargill, recent times. But, you know, you're looking at the options we have available. We haven't brought many players in. You're thinking, Kilkenny's definitely one. Like, how many good pre-seasons does he need before he plays? You know, and Pearson and Lewis Cook obviously ain't ready. We don't know what's happening with Lerma. I like Kilkenny's brave. He likes to get on the ball, and I thought Ibsen Rossi was a rock at the back. I actually thought he was better than Kelly, to be fair. But I thought them two were quite good as a pairing, and some of the youngsters were right. It's just, yeah, we're not sure how. I still don't look at us and think I know how we're going to set up or how we're going to play, because so many key players have not been involved yet. But I was quite happy with what I saw in general.
I think Chelsea in the first half particularly looked very strong. I mean, I know they scored their 2 goals in the second half, but that, you know, they had Callum Hudson-Odoi on the right hand side and then Alonso on the left that were pushing forward. It's almost like they were a 3-4-3. At times it looked like they had a bank of 5 up front, and it felt like sometimes we wouldn't cope, but we did cope, and we created some fairly good opportunities, but I thought we still looked fairly composed. And let's bear in mind that, you know, towards the end of the game, yes, I know Chelsea scored their 2 goals. The amount of youth that we ended up with, is that an indication that Parker is maybe more trusting of the youth and maybe is going to give more opportunities to the youth than what Eddie, Jason, Woody did? Maybe maybe he feels he hasn't got a choice. Maybe he feels, I'm happy with these youngsters. I think they're quite capable in the Championship, because I certainly think a few of them, Kilkenny, Rossi, Surridge, Taylor, Zamora. I feel like we didn't see Anthony tonight. I feel like they can definitely play a part in the squad. You know, I mean, like Christian Saidi on the left-hand side created some problems. He looked a right handful.
Yeah, I think they're definitely players that can be involved within the squad. You know, you don't want to rely on them every week, but they certainly deserve a crack, in my opinion. But like you say, I thought first half they had more of the ball. They were in control of the game. And it was all about how we would defend, and I thought we defended very well. Ibsen Rossi was brilliant. I thought Stacey was superb at right back at times, and Kelly played well in the first half. And Travers made some good reflex saves in the first half. And then second half, like you say, we brought the youngsters on and stuff, but we had a bit of a go. And when they were making the changes, they're bringing on Ross Barkley, they're bringing on Ruben Loftus-Cheek, and they started with a front three of Ziyech, Abraham, and Pulisic. And them three, they didn't score a goal when them three were on the pitch. You know, we deserve credit for that, but it's not really about the result, is it? It's about how certain players play and connections and things like that. I thought the midfield three of Kilkenny, Marcondes, and Billing were quite good. And you think of the players we're missing in them areas. I was quite impressed with that, but it was enjoyable to be back on it, mate.
You know, Kilkenny, low centre of gravity, manages to turn people really quickly. A number of times that Ruben Loftus-Cheek seemed to foul him like in the middle of the park. I thought that he was really good, and I'm starting to think maybe he's ready. Yeah. You know, I don't quite know yet. And look, this was a performance that was without Jayden Anthony, who has performed really good so far. We don't know whether we're going to have Lerma. We probably won't, but there are other players that we think, you know, Ben Pearson wasn't playing. Lewis Cook wasn't playing. Steve Cook, we don't know what's happening with him. So, you know, do we need more recruits? Do we still mean, I mean, because Leif Davis has come in.
Yep.
We don't know much about him. Carl Edwards probably deserves a mention because he nearly got on the end of that chance, like the start of the second half after Brooksy's one-on-one, which he should have taken that. But I don't know. I don't know how to feel about us yet.
I think, you know, in terms of Carl Edwards, I thought, you know, he's on trial. He played 45 minutes, and I thought he'd done well. He didn't do himself any harm. So it'll be how he does in training. If he impresses Scott Parker, I think he could be an option. But I've only seen him 45 minutes. And like you say, we've got loads of players to come back. I think what's key is, you'd probably say at the moment, if you had to name the side, without knowing what Leif Davis is like, you'd probably say, well, it's either Stacey or Smith, right back. It's Kelly at left back, and then it's Mepham and Cook. Well, Mepham and Cook haven't played, and we look pretty solid when they have their big men on. The worry, I think both goals, a better goalkeeper don't let them go in. And that's something we've got to talk about. I think I love Mark Travers, and I've said to you before, the amount I'd love him to be our number one. I just feel he needs to go out on loan for a season. He doesn't command an area.
So this Freddie Woodman thing, is it not coming?
It looks dead.
It looks dead. Okay, so that would indicate Travers would be our number one, and then Will Dennis would be the backup. But in your eyes, we do need to strengthen in that position. Well, we must. We have to.
I think it's a difficult one, because I think he's a when you look at him, you think he's a typical young goalkeeper with a lot of potential. Like first half, some unbelievable reaction saves, great shot stopper. But the second half, when the ball came into the box and you need a goalkeeper to come in command, get a punch on it, go and collect it, he looks young, he looks inexperienced. And that's nothing against him, he is inexperienced, he is young. My worry is that even if we get a goalkeeper in, he's going to then have to be the number two and sit on the bench. I feel like we missed a trick when we had Boric and Ramsdale that season. We should have just let Travers go out alone and go and get that experience. We saw with Ramsdale when we let Ramsdale go and get experience at Wimbledon. Look what happened, and I just think has Travers really played in Football League? He hasn't really. He's played in development. I just don't think he's got that experience yet. But I like him, and I hope we persist with him in terms of we think of him as the future. I'd be quite happy if we went and got an experienced goalkeeper in for a season. But yeah, I don't think he's quite ready. He'd done well in the first half, but in the second half, as I say, when balls come into the box, you need that commanding goalkeeper. I just think he looks young, which he is. So I do feel for him, but yeah, better goalkeeper. We probably don't let in that second goal at least.
Does all the transfer activity that you've seen so far indicate what we initially said on some of our previous podcasts? Look, it looks like Scott Parker's going to bring through youth and also going to, the loan market. He's obviously fairly adept at that with Fulham, etc. previously. Maybe that's where we're going. It doesn't look like we're going to be spending big on anyone. We've been linked with a few players, but I mean, it hasn't come to fruition. So maybe that's what we're going to do this season.
Mike Condes, free transfer.
Yeah.
Leif Davis on loan. I think we'll try and get a goalkeeper in on loan. We might try and get a winger in on loan. I think that'll probably be it. I think, we've looked at teams tonight. We've looked good, but we've looked a little bit young, a little bit inexperienced. But Scott Parker will point to the fact that we got Steve Cook, Chris Mepham, Junior Stanislas, Ben Pearson, Lewis Cook, a lot of players to come back. So yeah, I mean, what's interesting is that we've still got Arnaud Danjuma, Jefferson Lerma. They're still on the books. We don't know what's going to happen, and the season will start and the window will still be open. So that'll be interesting. So I wouldn't be surprised if we started with the kind of squad we've got now, Travers in goal, things like that, and he addresses kind of a couple of weeks in, because you can still bring it back if you start the season not particularly well. But what I will say is I don't see many Championship teams having as good academy players coming through as we do, like knocking on the door.
Yeah.
I think, we haven't seen Jaden Anthony tonight. He's knocking on the door. Kilkenny's knocking on the door. Ibsen Rossi surprised me tonight. I think Zamora looks good. So Sarri's is still a decent player. He went out on loan to Swansea a few years ago. He's still a decent backup. So we have got some good youngsters coming through, but and we still got some good quality in there. I thought Billing looked good at times tonight. So we've still got. I thought Stacey looked good.
Yep.
So we have still got a good team, and I still expect us to have the first 11 should be top 6. My worry is a few injuries. Have we got the depth yet? So we'll see.
So Leif Davis has come in, and obviously Diego Rico's gone.
Yeah.
Rico, sum up his AFC Bournemouth career. I mean, he was a trier, great stats in terms of interceptions, and I don't know. I felt he won over a lot of AFC Bournemouth fans just by his Spanish swagger. However, didn't really cut the mustard for us, sadly. Looks as though we've made quite a big loss, but at the end of the day, we need to get rid of players that were big money earners. Maybe he was one of them. Begovic was another.
Yeah.
Sad to see him go, but this is how we need to be these days. We need to be a bit more astute.
Yeah, he's one of them players. Like I thought when he come over, I don't know if he suits the English games. I wouldn't be surprised me if he does well in La Liga. He's going to be in the Europa League, by the way.
Is he?
Yeah, I mean, Sociedad in the Europa League.
I did not know that. Oh my God, that's mad.
And I actually think he'll probably do okay.
Yeah.
It's just the pace of it and things like that. I just thought he found it really difficult to adapt. I felt that it was up here a bit more with Diego. I felt that he's got a good left foot. He's quick. He's quite strong. He's got all them attributes, but I just think he was caught out a lot of the time. I also feel like sometimes he played left centre back, then he was left back, then he was wing back, etc., etc. I remember the first season he came in, I thought this guy is never going to play for us, and then he grew into it, didn't he? And I thought he was quite good, and then consistently inconsistent, that sort of player, but likeable in the sense that I think it's easier to moan at players when you think they're a little bit kind of going through the motions. Diego always put 100%. And I'd always liked Rico and I want him to do well, but it was probably the right move for all parties, I'd say. I think Diego probably needed to go back to Spain, and I think we probably needed to go. Didn't quite work, Diego. We're going to go a different route, but I hope he does well. I quite liked him, and I'm glad he got that goal, that stunner. Do you know what I mean? I'm glad he got that, but I hope he does well. But like I say, I think it's probably time to move on now, and it'll just be interesting to see what Leif Davis is like, because I don't know an awful lot about him. Just looking forward to it. It feels a bit unknown, doesn't it? It feels a bit unknown, like we've mentioned there in the video, like feels a bit unknown with the youngsters coming through, what's going to happen in the window. We've got a new manager, but I quite like unknown.
Yeah.
New season, I'm quite liking it. I'm quite intrigued to see what happens. So no expectation really. Let's just go into it and see what happens.
So match day, MK Don's match day. Do you want to do a vlog maybe?
A few beers, shall we? And do a little vlog, shall we?
Shall we?
Yeah, why not? Why not?
Let's do it.
That's what they want.
That's
what they want.
Give the people what they want.
Subscribe.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Subscribe to the channel, and Tom. Cheers, mate.
Cheers,
Appreciate
mate.
it. And we'll see you in the next one.
Have a cherries.
Other cherries.